Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bianca. Today we are going to work on another costume. The costume that I am making is inspired by the work of Savannah Alexandra Art on Instagram. I'll put her information down here for you all to see. She is an amazing character designer, and I asked her permission if I could recreate some of her amazing works of art. She has a lot of vintage style pinup artwork. She's known for the amazing puppets that she created. She also has a YouTube video. Go check her out. I'll put all of her links down below so you can check her out. She actually created a drawing of a costume that I've wanted to make for some time, and when I saw her make it and post it, I was like, well, I have to do it. At this point, I have to do it because it looks beautiful the way that she created it. So I'm gonna see if I can make it similar to hers if possible. Maybe put a little bit of my twist in there, but yeah, definitely check her out. She's amazing. The pattern I'm going to use is this Simplicity 5023. This pattern I got from the awesome Stephanie Canada, and her shop is Backroom Finds. I will link her shop down below. I'm sure a lot of you already know Stephanie Canada, and the view that I'm going to work on is view 1. It's the white one right over here. So these are the fabrics that I'm going to be using to hopefully recreate the drawing that Savannah Alexander has for the little aliens from Toy Story. I have this purple little crushed this purple crushed velvet type of fabric. Both of these fabrics I got from Remainders Pasadena, which you should know by now that I absolutely love. And this blue, another crushed velvet. It's very stretchy, super cute. So I'm gonna get started on cutting up these pieces, and let's see how far we get today. If you all enjoyed this type of video, please make sure to give it a like and consider subscribing to see more videos. All right, let's get started on making her costume. Because I got this pattern from Stephanie Canada, I knew that all the pattern pieces were in here. And I started cutting one of the pieces out, but then I realized that I didn't want to do that because then, I don't know, I got nervous that maybe I would mess it up, and there's only one of these, so I decided to trace this out, mark all of the pieces, and just use my tracings. Once I got that, I cut it and started cutting my actual fabric. And as always, Teddy has to make an appearance, as he is one of my wonderful assistants that I have here in my sewing room. He always loves being around the fabric. The first thing I did was work on the back piece, and I stitched 3/4 of an inch around the neckline to make sure that it doesn't stretch out. But you know, I didn't have everything in my sewing machine like the Bowman, and just had to do that real quick. And because this is the first time I've ever worked with knits or stretchy, you know what, I'm lying. I have used stretchy fabric, and it never works out that well. I am so happy. I'm realizing this during this voiceover. I'm very happy that I did that. Yay me! I'm learning. Anyway, back to the video. But once I got the neckline, stitched, I just pinned this piece together so that it just makes it easier for me to sew up. I will say though, it is the first time I'm using a stretchy velvet-like fabric. So, we're learning here. All right, so I'm sorry for this cord. That's my microphone. I can't really I don't know, I can't get it out of the way. But I've already sewn this collar up here because that's what the pattern piece says. And then the next thing is to sew this section here up to this medium dot. Then I believe we do the zipper. I probably should have put interfacing because this is such a stretchy fabric that with interfacing it'll stabilize it, but I'm gonna follow the instructions as I am told. So let's just go and sew this up and see how it goes. All right, so now that I sewed that up, let me tell you what's going on here. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and measuring out the zipper opening. I looked for some zippers to see if I had one for the same color and length. I didn't. I have this purple one and that's what I'm going to use. It's okay. The collar is purple, so I figured why not? I even basted it down. I sewed this up and then I was like, oh my goodness. You know what would be great? A lap zipper. Let me remeasure everything and undo the basting that I had just done and try it all over again. Oh my goodness. But that's what was happening here. Alright, so I just finished sewing this and it looks hideous. I really tried to do a lap zipper and I think I should have just done a regular schmegular zipper. I mean, right over here, I didn't do the lap zipper as I wanted. Then I was like, oh my god, it needs to lap, and it just... It's alright. I mean, from afar you can't see it and it's in the back, so like, you know, like, do I really care? Should I care? I don't know. Oh. And I'm learning. I'm gonna just say that. I'm just gonna say that I'm learning. But the zipper is done. So then now I can start sewing the front to the back and start on the collar. This is literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pattern pieces, and it's taken me way longer than I wanted to get this started or just even do any of it. So let me start getting this, but I'm gonna go get some lunch and then I'll come back and we'll work on this. Hello, so we're back. I had lunch and a 2-ish hour nap because I woke up around like 4 this morning. It's Hurricane Hillary and G needed to come inside because nobody wants to be stuck in the rain. So we're back. My little assistant is here, the little assistant Teddy, and we got our front piece, so we're gonna get started on that. For the front piece, I had to sew the neckline the same way I did the back. So just did a quick zigzag 3/4 of an inch to make sure that it doesn't stretch out. Once the neckline is ready, I can pin it to the back at the shoulders and sew those pieces together. next we have our purple collar. So when I was working on this collar, I started pinning it on the long sides, as you're gonna see here. And thank goodness that I read the instructions, because I didn't have to pin that. I mean, I did. It helped me out at the end anyway, but I actually just had to sew the sides. Oh my goodness. Will I ever learn to read the instructions? I don't know. I mean, I did, because I ended up reading them and I did the right thing. Do you do that? Do you just like start pinning and then you're like, wait a minute, I didn't even have to pin that? Because I always do that. Let me know that I'm not alone. I cut the corners of the collar so I could flip this inside out, and then I just started pinning this onto the neck piece. The neck line? You know what I'm saying. I pinned it and then sewed it up. I made sure to give this a press, but I used some extra fabric, like cotton fabric that I had, so that I can iron this, because I've never ironed this type of fabric before, so I was nervous that I could burn it, like I have other fabrics. Up next was just me pinning these side seams, getting them ready to sew. And once I sewed it, I figured I would try it out. All right, so I figured I would wear this now, just to see if it fits or not. If anything, I can always, you know, sew in the seams. Let's just check it out. So this is it on, and I think it looks pretty good. This is going to tie down here, so it'll be something like this. Honestly, I think it looks pretty cute. I think it fits fine. And I say fine because I know that these are supposed to be a little more like form-fitting, and there is some space. I don't know, I think I might leave it like this. If anything, I can always go back and put a little bit more, tighten it a little bit more, but I think this is fine. I think this is really fine. I'm not sure if you can see the purple, like the purple is so dark. I was thinking maybe I should have used the purple I used for Bobcephala, because this is kind of dark. At least I can't really see it in the camera. But this is it so far. I think it's looking really cute. So the next thing I have to do is work on these sleeves. Yeah. We're almost done. I was pretty tired at this point, so I just sewed the sleeves together and then I pressed them. But you can tell that I was really tired because I didn't even bring my little ironing board, and I just pressed this on top of my cutting mat. Luckily and thankfully, the cutting mat is fine, but just don't do that. And the last thing I did for this night was to pin it on the actual bodice. of this here because I need to do one stitch and then a second stitch because sleeves are always a little difficult for me. But this is how I pinned every single thing so that I can hopefully not get too many puckers. I'll work on sewing this up. So as you can see here, I did 2 stitches, one closest to the edge and then the second one just a little below it. You can see that it does pucker up, but once I do the second stitch, it comes out smoother. The instructions told me to do this, and I believe that I've seen this done somewhere else, but I just can't remember where. I think this is the best sleeve I've ever sewn. I tried it once before and it worked on one side, but it didn't work on the other one. But that's not the sleeve's fault. I believe that's going to be my fault, so I'll take responsibility on that one. But I really love how that sleeve turned out. I then started working on the panty section. I just have to roll this up to give it a clean line at the bottom and just sew that right up. Once those were sewn, I grabbed my elastic and measured that out. The instructions said to cut it 3 inches shorter than the entire length, so that's what I did. Now that I have the elastic, I have to divide this into 4 equal parts. So I started folding this up and marking it with a pin. It was getting a little difficult for me to actually put it on the piece, so I decided to mark the elastic with a Sharpie. It's the elastic inside. I don't mind it having a little bit of a marker on it. Marking it definitely helped me put this all together and get it ready for the sewing machine. So I just finished the inside of the little legs, and they could be a lot better. It says that I couldn't figure out how to make it the way that the instructions were saying, but this is what I got, and I think it looks okay either way. The last thing I have to do now is to put the little snaps on the inside, and I have these that I get from estate sales, these little fasteners. So I'm going to put 2 of those here at the bottom, and it says we need some hook and eyes. It actually says some hooks and some like fabric loops, but I have some hook and eyes, so I'm just going to do that instead. But once I have this done, I think we're ready to start putting makeup on. Alright, so this is the final look. I painted myself green as much as I could. There's obviously a section in the back of my head that I couldn't get. And let me tell you, this is probably the most difficult bald cap that I've dealt with because like this section wouldn't close. I put like all sorts of the glue that I have for it, and like, oh, now it's sticking. It's gonna come off in like 3, 2, 1. Oh, there you go. But yeah, it was taking a really long time for this to stick. Like you can even see up here, it didn't stick very well. And hello, my hair, it can't be tamed. No way. I have a little ear over here, and that's because Nebula wants to sit on the chair that I have right here. But yeah, in terms of my makeup, I tried to replicate Savannah Alexandra's drawing as much as I could. I put some green makeup on my hands as well, and right over here, like you could tell where this keeps pulling some of the makeup off. It's all right, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is how it goes sometimes. I try to draw an eye in the center of my forehead. It looks very creepy, but I think it works for this costume. I got a little pipe cleaner and I just glued that up here, and I had a little pom-pom to put up there. In terms of the actual costume piece, I love it. It fits so well. I realized that I never hemmed the sleeve. Oops, don't tell anybody. But it's fine, you can't even tell. Like, you wouldn't have known if I had told you, right? Right? I made this little pin here. I crocheted it in like a few minutes because I forgot that they have their little emblem. So I crocheted that really quick. I put a piece of fabric behind it and sewed up one of these pins that I found at an estate sale. I think it's super cute. I love it. It looks great. The boots, I don't have any thigh-high blue boots, so I grabbed the same fabric that I used to make the belt, because this is a regular silver belt that I just covered with some fabric, and I made some boot covers. And I'll put the link in the description below of the blog that helped me make these or gave me an idea of how to make it so that you can learn how to make them too. But tell me what you think. Do you think I did a good job replicating Savannah Alexandra's art? I mean, she's super talented, like I said. I'm just trying my best over here. And I know that I don't have the ears, but listen. They didn't make it in time, okay? They didn't make it in time. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this, and if you did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a like and consider subscribing to see more videos like this one. If you do make a costume like this or you sew up this pattern, please make sure to share it with me on Instagram. I always love seeing your makes. If you'd like to support my channel further, then comments and likes and shares. I do have a Ko-fi account where you can provide me a tip. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you all next time. Love ya. Bye.